In the frozen wastelands of medieval Scandinavia, there existed a single word that could destroy a man more completely than any sword or bat. A word so devastating that Norse law actually made it illegal to speak. Not because it was profane, but because the consequences were so brutal that society recognized it as a weapon of mass destruction. That word was argr, and what happened to men branded with this label will shock you to your core. Welcome back to Vaults of History, where we uncover the darkest secrets that textbooks refuse to tell. I'm diving deep into one of the most terrifying social punishments in human history: how Viking society systematically annihilated men who failed to meet their impossible standards of masculinity. This is just ancient history. This is a window into how fear and shame can become weapons more deadly than any blade. The term argr appears throughout Norse sagas and legal documents, like the Icelandic Grogur's law code. It meant far more than just unmanly. It was an accusation of fundamental gender deviance that could be triggered by refusing to fight, showing fear in battle, practicing what they considered feminine magic, or even walking in a way deemed too graceful. But here's where this gets truly sinister. The accusation of argr wasn't just an insult. It was a legal nuclear weapon. The Grogurs actually made calling someone argr illegal, not to protect the accused, but because the lawmakers understood that this single word could trigger a punishment so brutal it threatened the stability of society itself. When a man was formally declared argr, Norse society unleashed its most terrifying punishment, complete and total outlawry. This wasn't exile. This wasn't banishment. This was social annihilation. Here's what happened. The condemned man lost every legal right. His property was seized by the community. His family could legally disown him without consequence. Anyone could kill him on sight, and helping him in any way became a crime punishable by the same fate. He was stripped of his name, his identity, and his fundamental right to exist as a human being. But the horror was just beginning. The man was forced into the skóggr, the wilderness, to survive alone in one of the harshest environments on Earth. No shelter, no community, no protection from the elements or wild animals. Most died within months from starvation, exposure, or violence from those hunting them for sport. What makes this punishment truly nightmarish is how it contaminated entire bloodlines. The shame of argr was hereditary. Sons could inherit their father's dishonor, and families would sometimes murder their own relatives rather than face the social contamination. The Norse sagas are filled with stories of warriors who chose death in battle over the mere accusation of argr. They understood that some fates were worse than dying with honor. To be branded argr meant not just death, but complete erasure, as if you had never existed at all. This system created a society living in constant terror. Every gesture, every word, every moment of vulnerability was scrutinized for signs of unmanliness. The threat of argr became a tool of social control more powerful than any army. Archaeological evidence supports these brutal practices. Excavations across Iceland and Norway have uncovered isolated burial sites, single graves far from communities, with no grave goods or honors. These are believed to be the remains of outlaws who died alone in the wilderness. Their bodies eventually discovered and buried without ceremony. Legal documents from the period show cases where entire families petitioned to change their names to escape the hereditary shame of an argr relative. The system was so thorough that it could destroy not just individuals, but entire lineages across generations. The Viking punishment of argr reveals something disturbing about human nature. How societies weaponized gender norms to maintain absolute control. These weren't just primitive barbarians. They had created a sophisticated system of psychological warfare that could destroy a person without ever drawing blood. This forgotten chapter reminds us that the most effective forms of oppression often hide behind concepts of honor, tradition, and social order. The Vikings understood that the fear of social death could be more powerful than the fear of physical death, and they used that knowledge to create one of history's most terrifying forms of punishment. What other dark secrets lie buried in the vaults of history? Subscribe and hit that notification bell to uncover more forgotten horrors that shaped our world, because those who forget the past are doomed to repeat it. Thanks for watching Vaults of History. Until next time, keep digging deeper into the shadows of the past.